Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video, we're talking about the latest and greatest in gaming and tech news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about Ludo, which is a fairly simplistic RetroArch front end written in Go. At the time of filming, version 0.17.0 has just released. If you're on Linux, it adds an experimental Wayland support. And it also updates the libretro cores to the latest version. This is free, it's open source, and I'll drop a link to it in the description below. Next up, we're talking about PCSX2, which got a small update that may be handy for you if you like retro achievements. So if you pick up the latest and greatest version of PCSX2 and head into the options, you may notice that retro achievement notifications now have a configurable duration. Moving on, and this one is quick but interesting. It appears that 4 people with 4 separate GameCubes have made Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles playable online. They're having a live stream of this on August 12th, and I'll drop a link to the YouTube video in the description below. It'll be gameplay between all 4 of them, and I find this interesting. Let me know your thoughts about this one. Next up, we're switching from the GameCube over to the Dreamcast, and retro fighters have unveiled a brand new controller. It is wireless, it's called the Striker DC, and it looks fairly interesting and also pretty comfortable. So the Striker DC will be offered in transparent blue and also white. It'll set you back about $50 overall. It'll have Hall effect joysticks, 2.4 GHz wireless, a 30-foot wireless range, wireless vibration feedback, upgradable firmware, and turbo functionality, and more. And I would argue at $50 here, if you've got a Dreamcast, this might be worth looking at. Moving on, and we're talking about the Steam Deck. And yesterday we talked about Valve selling refurbished Steam Decks at a bit of a discount. And today we've got even more information here. The refurbished Steam Decks are fully tested at Valve facilities and come with the exact same 1-year warranty as a new deck. On top of that, GameStop is also selling refurbished Steam Decks, but there is something worth noting. Now, I'm not knocking GameStop, but GameStop and Valve are 2 different companies and they're doing their own thing here. Valve is offering refurbishments with a warranty. GameStop is offering refurbishments with a warranty. But if you have an issue, if you picked it up from GameStop, you have to go to GameStop. If you picked it up from Valve, you should probably go to Valve. As far as I know here, these warranties are not cross-applicable. And speaking about talking about stuff from yesterday, next up we're still talking about something we mentioned yesterday. We've got some more context here, and it's context I'm not necessarily a fan of. The TMNT content may cost you $100 to unlock all of it in Street Fighter 6. That is a lot of money, considering Street Fighter 6 is arguably already pretty expensive. Now, it pains me to say this because I am a member of the fighting game community and I'm also a massive fan of Street Fighter, both casually and competitively. But holy smokes, can this game get expensive. I mean, the Ultimate Edition in Canada is $140. Add in the $100 for this Ninja Turtles DLC if you wanted everything. And then whatever money other DLCs and other collaborations are going to cost on top of that. And I think it's going to be pretty easy to sink like $500 or $600 into this game before it's all said and done. If you're a casual person, you may want to consider pacing yourself. Now, I guess you could make the argument, a pretty easy argument, that it's similar to other fighting games and also Street Fighter V and also a bunch of other AAA games out there. This might even be cheap in compared to some AAA games out there in terms of DLCs and add-ons. But at the same time here, it's a minor pet peeve because these games can get expensive very quick. Moving on, and we're talking about a brand new Linux distribution. If you're a fan of Ubuntu, if you're a fan of XFCE, if you're a fan of Debian, if you're a fan of rolling releases, you may be a fan of Rhino Linux. 2023.1 just dropped. So Rhino Linux is the successor to Rolling Rhino Remix, and out of the box this features a Linux kernel of 6.4. Also by default, Rhino Linux does not include snaps or flatpaks. It's 100% free, open source, and if you wanted to check it out, I'll drop a link in the description below. And last up here, still talking about Linux, but switching over to nVidia, and nVidia has just released drivers version 535.98. This isn't a massive release, but there are a few bug fixes here, and you may want to check these out if you're looking for the latest and greatest drivers. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, don't tempt fate, save your state.